a big part of people's depression comes from the fact that they try to maintain a public image that maybe doesn't correlate with who they are. So the problem is they get themselves into a spiral of depression through the fact they can't afford a lifestyle. And sometimes like, people behave certain ways that don't really correspond with themselves. It gets a bit crazy to me. I've never cared about what people think of me. So my image, for instance, I don't really care. I'm very transparent. In fact, I'm too transparent. And I'm going to share something very personal in a moment, and I think it will help people. Maybe it'll give people a bit more of a reality check to realize that your finances don't define you. It defines a certain part of sort of your personality and your maybe spending habits, your lack of control, all these things. But these can be healed. These can be learned. And I'm going to share something deeply personal, then how I see my future. Also, while I'm talking, I might as well just explain this side of things. Um, if you look, I like Superdry as a brand. I've got this jacket and I've got one in black. Um, and I like the zip. I like the fact it's got this zip, which is so. What people see in my videos, for the most part, I'm always wearing this one or my black one. I don't care about superficial stuff. I really couldn't care less. I don't want to point to celebrities and things, but I've heard reports that some celebrities only wear one piece of item once, and then they always have to wear something different. And I'm just thinking, for what purpose? Like, I don't care. People perceptions of me is irrelevant. So someone might think, oh, he's always wearing the same clothes, always wearing the same jacket in different variants. Yeah, there's only 7 days to a week. I just don't care. I'll wash it. That's the thing. I'll wash them until they degrade, and then when they need replacing, I'll hopefully find something similar. But I don't think they make these ones anymore. So that's annoying. Yeah, of course, I have other clothes, but the most part, yeah, I like wearing black t-shirts. I'm a very simple person. I don't really care. I found a brand I like. For instance, my t-shirts are Next. They're very comfort fitting, so I don't like a loose fit around my neck. I don't care about the brands per se. I just care about the quality. Next, it's cheap. I think that about used to be 2 for 10, now I think it's 2 for 15 or whatever it is. But I'm not someone that goes for a million t-shirts. So what am I buying it for? Who am I trying to impress is the question. I have no one I'm trying to impress. So what do I care? I'm happy. When I'm lounging around at home, I wear jeans when I'm out and about because I can secure things in my pockets and things. It's more comfortable. When I'm around my home, I just wear, for the most part, I'm wearing like tracksuit bottoms, something light, something easy, or shorts. I'm a very simple person. I'm not really over. I don't need a lot, and I don't care what people think in that regard. Who am I again? Who are we trying to impress? And yet you see people trying to buy designer things, or they're trying to buy like high quality sports brands, and it's irrelevant. I don't care about any of that. It's so pointless to me. Has my own feeling on it. Of course, if people like a certain style, it's not for me to say that's not worth it, but each their own. Yeah, I'm just a very simple person like that. So that lends me on to something else. I think it's really important to be transparent. At least I am. Other people do not have to be this transparent in their life. You can do certain things in private. You don't need to share everything with the world. You can literally, like I say, do things for yourself. People don't need to know your ins and outs because people can be judgmental and some people are not ready to be judged. Me, I just do not care less what anyone, even some people close to me, think about any of my decisions. It really is irrelevant. So if you see here, I have a debt relief order. Now, a debt relief order in the UK is a smaller form of bankruptcy, but it is a form of bankruptcy. Now, some people will say, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. My debt was such, I think I had about £25,000 worth of debt. Most of that, in all honesty, I think if you go split it half, I think was towards like TV subscriptions and things. When you cancel, they're always chasing you for it. It just amounted. There was like different company after different company. It's an absolute mess, in all honesty. But it was constantly sort of compounding upon me, and it's important we address things. So I had two choices. It was either realistically do a debt relief order or do an IVA. So an IVA is where you pay a certain amount each month, but it'd be for a similar period. It made no sense. The argument for IVA was that it wouldn't have such a negative impact on your credit record, but it would still have an impact. And the point is, it's like, first of all, the debt was too much. You can't keep adding to the debt anyway. It made no sense. And even if you could, you're just going to struggle to get debt. So what difference does it make? So effectively, with the debt relief order, you apply for it, and then you have to wait. There's a year grace period. So, for instance, if your income goes up to past a certain level, or you have too many personal belongings of a high value, then it could cancel the debt relief order. You're no longer entitled to it. So once you pass the 1 year grace period, all of a sudden, all those debts that were included have been written off pretty much. And then there's another 5 years of persecution, if you like. And then eventually, after 6 years, just like any other credit um, record, it gets deleted. So it won't be there for much longer. So I'm showing that on my one. If you look at the date there, it says 2019, 10th of January. So I've been counting down the days. I've been keeping an eye on this. My credit's been terrible, but I accept that, you know. It's like I dealt with the situation and I knew there was going to be a period of financial persecution. And it's like, okay, if that's what I have to do to clear this and get a fresh start, then that's what I'll do. So that's what I'm showing people. You know, I think the problem is some people feel really ashamed of something like that. If you look at me, I ain't ashamed of anything. It's like, it's part of it's part of my process. I talk about it a lot. There's not an education, especially when I was at school, about how to manage your finances and things. And you can get a credit card and things too early, and you can easily get amount to a lot of problems. And it's just the way it is. So, you know, I had to deal with the situation, and I did. It included some other things. Like, for instance, I was self-employed for a period, and there was a crossover between when I had to file self-employment, like the tax return. And I wasn't aware at one period that I had to file the tax return because I just literally, I think I just started DaVinci in about, um, let's say it's April, and they still want, but I didn't realize they still wanted that last month's worth of tax return. I thought I only had to file it the following year. So there was a whole period there where you was just getting penalty fee, penalty fee, penalty fee, and it adds up. But I'm pretty sure on this instance, I was able to add that to this debt relief order just to it clears. You know, there's a lot of things that could get cleared. It wasn't just this. It was like anything pretty much. I mean, there were certain, I can't remember exactly which ones. There were some that couldn't be added, but for the most part, most things could. So you was really doing it to take care of some, but then you realizing you can throw everything into it, you know, and it just like literally just removes everything. So the trouble with my one as well is that I had a lot of companies that should have removed from my credit record didn't. And that annoyed me because it was like it was having a negative effect on, even though this has a big enough a negative effect, I had all these other negative ones that they should have been removed when I got approved. But in the end, I was like, you know what? You're in no position to apply for credit anyway. Don't even go near it. You learned your lessons. And I've learned my lessons, you know. I'm more astute. I think about things a little bit more. I still have some level of debt. I don't have like a lot. Only like little menial things that I'm repaying in payment plans and things, but nothing like crazy. It's just like little thing here, little thing there, £12.50 for something there, and another £20 for that one. It's fine. There was something I was going to say. Yeah, that was it. So my plan going forward, and it doesn't mean I'll be approved, but it's what I want to be able to do. And it's not from a place of lack of control, because I recognize you can go one way or another. If you really have no self-control, you can lose your mind. Yeah, so if you can't control yourself, definitely don't consider it. So I want to get a credit card, and now I've got to wait for this debt relief order to clear to see what my credit rating spikes to, because it should spike. You know, that's a heavy anchor on the credit. Let's see what it looks like. At the moment, I can't get any, and it seems silly for me just to apply for the smallest one when I'm allowed. If I can get something with a better interest rate, so I want to just see what what the rating will be. Now, credit card, you'd think is absolutely wild. Why would you want to do that? There's multiple reasons why I would want to do that. First of all, you've got immediate access to credit. You don't have to keep applying for things. That'd be nice. In the event there's an emergency, there's that side of things, which again, you know, I'm not stupid. What I want to be able to do is use the credit card in replacement of the debit card. So if there's a fraud risk, if you use your bad debit card everywhere, of course, it's a risk that's your personal finance. So if anything ever happened to that's your personal income, and then it's for you to fight to regain that money, and it's not always going to be approved. You're not always going to win. But if you have a credit card, for instance, you are paying with credit from the bank or the borrower, you know, whoever the finances is. So if there's ever an issue with fraud or anything, the issue is between them and the person who committed the fraud. It's not between you and the person who committed the fraud. So it's up to the bank to recover it from them. It's not for them to charge you for it. So there's like a freedom within that. So the way I see it is, if you only ever have your credit card on file, it's protected. And then effectively, I would apply for a new bank card, just apply for a new debit bank card, and never use it. that card would only ever be used to pay the credit card. That's how I see it, because I just think from a fraud point of view, I think that's incredibly important. I've also learned that your products you purchase are insured, because if you use a credit card, they're insured. So everything you purchase is insured if you use a credit card, but no, not if you have a debit card. So you've got that aspect too. But again, if you can't control yourself, then I think it's very scary to get one, because you could go mental. If someone gives you like a massive credit limit and you went mental with it, it's like, how are you going to repay it? Now, I've had my debt to understand how crippling it feels when you really do feel isolated from it. So I have no interest in any of that. Um, and I'm recognizing in my own life, you only need so many things. It's like you can keep buying and buying and buying, but it doesn't fill a void. You have to be fulfilled in your own life to feel content. I think otherwise you're just constantly spending for a habit, and it's gonna bring stress onto your life, and then you're gonna repeat the cycle. I want to rebuild my credit so I have options in the future. And I think it's a viable option, and that's really where I'm focused on. So that's kind of what I want to do. And like I said, I know there's risks that come with it, but I'm transparent. Like I said, I'm too transparent. I shouldn't even, if most people wouldn't even share what I share. But if you look at me, I don't feel ashamed in any way, because I think it's really important that people they feel proud of themselves when they take action in their life. I think the idea that anybody's perfect, I think, is outrageous, and I think that's where the problem is. It's like people set this sort of this fake image that they're perfect, and then other people have struggled to live up to it, and then they get judged when they can't. It's like, yeah, but even the person pretending they're perfect isn't really perfect. So you could have, and the problem is people project all the time. So if someone's got a fancy car, for instance, then everybody should have a fancy car, just to really validate their lifestyle. And for some of us, we just don't care. I was driving past a car today. I was driving home long distance. My car's really nice. I love my car. I got a Ford Mondeo, but it's got everything. It's got electric. It's got heated seats. It's got a 6 disc changer on CDs. Um, it's got all the features: heated front windows, all sorts of stuff. It's beautiful. It's fast. It's 2.5 liter car engine. It's rapid. This thing's got it's got normally cars have 5 manual gears. 5 gears. Mine's got 6. So mine's actually really effective when I'm going on a long distance on the motorway, freeway, whatever you want to call it. And I'm driving, and I see this really, really fancy sports car, and I just thought, I wonder how much that's costing them a month. Because guess what? Mine's not costing me anything. And I'm zooming past them, and I'm like, I'm chill, I'm relaxed, I've got comfort. They've got mine are they're part leather seats as well. It's a premium range model. Cost me £3,000 2 years ago. And it's like beautiful. I really enjoy. I don't feel. I wouldn't even change it. It's got holders for my drinks and things, and it's like I have no reason to change. And the point is, some people, they're always trying to project wealth or something, and it's prestige. I'm not. I don't try and project anything. I'm happy. I'm comfortable being me. It's not. My car doesn't cost me in terms of its finance. Why would I want to replace it? Even if someone offered me that other fancy car, I don't want it. I don't want it. I'm happy with mine. Until my car is no longer roadworthy, I have no interest in replacing it. It's even if I had the money and it means I don't want to. I like my car. In the same way I like my clothes. So really, what does money give me materially? It doesn't really give me much, because I don't need much. Um, you know, and again, that's the thing that doesn't feed into other people's delusion, because a lot of people, they need a certain level of income to sustain their superficial life. And you see it a lot, especially in workplaces. If you look at the car park, most people have got the really fancy cars because they have to. They're always like, it's all presentation, but it's like hemorrhaging money. Um, but I see it all the time where people get like fancy sports brands and things, because they go through phases where they need the latest trainers, which Americans call as sneakers. Um, It's like you're paying a fortune for that, and it's like that's just so pointless. Like, I get people. Look, if people enjoy it, they enjoy it. We all have things we like to collect or own. There's nothing wrong with owning something if it makes you feel good. I think do it for that reason, but have some sort of morality to it as well, and realize the value it brings, whether it brings enough value. Like for instance, these cost me, I think, like £40 each. Probably supposed to be 50 quid. I don't know. I got them in the sale now. On sale, and I bought 2 because I was like, you know what, I like it, and that's what I do. If I like something, I buy multiples. I'm like, you know what, they might stop selling that. We'll get a couple. And that's what I did. Now I wish I got a different color as well. Then we got 3 variants. But that's what that's how simple I am. I don't care. I don't need different styles. If I find a style I like, I'll stick with it. So, like I say, I've probably got about 10 of these black shirts. I've got a couple of grey ones, but I don't even like them. So, if anything, when I'm picking my shirts, I always pick in black. I don't know why. I just like it. Black, black, black. Let's find my black shirt. A bit like Simon Cowell at this point. Um, but yeah, look, this is really a bit of a dull video, but I just want to show people that it's okay to be dull. That's the point. Is like, don't have to glamorize everything, and definitely don't need to get yourselves in debt to have. But the other side of that is, of course, if you're ever in debt, it's address it, because you can bury your head in the sand. And believe me, I know what it feels like. It feels like advice crushing in on you, and everybody keep threatening you and all this, and it's like, this is doing my head in. But hiding isn't going to solve anything either. So a lot of the time, though, you don't have to go to such an extreme of getting a debt relief order or bankruptcy or IVA. You can always just do a repayment plan for people. If you've got a debt, some of them will actually, reduce the debt. So if you can pay it off in one lump sum, you can do that. Others, if you just talk to them, they can come up with a payment plan that works for you. Some, if it's a service, for instance, for me with my water bill, we've come up with a payment plan. But when I told them my circumstances, they even reduced the rate that they're charging me for the water service, for a period. I think that's coming up, so I may need to talk to them again soon. But again, this is being on top of your finances in that sense. And again, we learn from experience. That's how I know these things. If you don't have the experience, you won't know anything. I know that if you just talk to people, you can come up with a payment plan, no matter how threatening it can get. I had a problem with my rent, for instance. I was in an issue with them. I spoke to them. We sorted it out. It was just, let's make a payment plan that's affordable. We just pay slightly more per month, just only a little bit, like very minimal, like maybe £15 more per month, and it solved the problem. It was nice because you work with you work with them, be consistent, yeah, and. But if something mounts too much, it's like you're going to have to take ownership of it and try to make the best decision you can. For instance, where mine was about £20,000 debt. Now, again, it wasn't nothing where I took advantage of things for the most part. It wasn't like anybody's really lost. It was more about services. Where this might get a bit fed up with subscription services and things because they hold you to ransom. So it's mainly things like that. And in the end, it was just such a bulk that I think dealing with each one and coming to some sort of payment, it was never going to be viable. The monthly fee the monthly payments would still be out of this world. And by the time you've even repaid it, we're looking at the 6-year duration anyway. So it made more sense just to clear it. Except that you're going to have persecution financially for 6 years. But the thing is, this is the thing people don't talk about, is even if you took the other way, you've still got like defaults on your payments. You've still got issues where it says delinquent or whatever it says. It will always have a negative if you're doing a payment plan anyway because you're in arrears. So although you're repaying it, there's still a negative on your credit record anyway. So you've got to ask yourself, is it going to be repaid within that period or not? Because after 6 years, most debts get removed anyway off your credit rating. So from my point of view, it was a case of, so your credit rating is going to be poor for 6 years anyway. You may as well just clear it all off, and then we'll just wait until you're. And I always thought that when I'm in my 40s, it would just 6 years. Okay, I've lost a period. It's frustrating, but yeah, there'll be a day when it's clear, and that day is very soon, in literally tomorrow. Tomorrow it gets removed. Then I'll probably just give it a month or so just to even itself out, see what happens. But I'll be making, the right decisions. I'm not interested in going crazy again. I'd rather live within my means. I don't want to be reliant upon credit. But the credit card for me would just be an alternative to the debit card. So effectively, you're never spending more than you've got, but you'll repay. Effectively anything you spend on a credit card, you just repay for your debit card. That's the way I want to do it. So like effectively, if you think about this, your credit card sits in front of your debit card. No one needs to know the debit card information. And that's how I want to operate. And again, it opens up things like, for instance, if you travel abroad, some places to rent a car, you need a credit card. Not all places, of course, but I've seen situations where you do need one. I don't have a credit card, so that'll alienate me from being able to even rent a car on holiday. For instance, if I go to certain countries, I think America has that policy. I'm not sure. It did when I was in Florida one time, and that was straight away made me go, wait a minute. I think at some point I'm going to need a credit card because you don't want to find yourself unstuck. Um, yeah, I thought I would touch upon that really. Again, hopefully me being, I wouldn't even call it being vulnerable. Maybe for some people consider it vulnerable. Hopefully me showing my, what you could maybe some people to perceive as weakness, people to see it, find, and recognize there's a strength within it. And hopefully it will inspire them to take actions in their lives. Because that's why I do what I do. There'll be people that come out and ridicule and things, but then they'll have their day. They'll have, that's the thing. You've got to be very careful, like where you throw stones, because you could find yourself humbled too one day. If you're living beyond your means now and you're trying to validate that living beyond your means, it's like you may find a day when your finances take a hit and you have to start looking at things you may lose, and it'll humble you. And you realize you don't need half the what you're trying to project and acquire. It's just, it's so pointless. Doesn't mean you can't have nice things, so don't ever feel guilty for having nice things either. It's just do it for you, though. That's the point, isn't it? Have things that you want for you that actually bring you joy and happiness, not what other. Don't do anything just to impress people. You see it too much where people just try and impress their neighbours. I couldn't give a crap what my neighbours think about me. I don't, and I couldn't care less what they have. It's like I have no awareness of it. I don't care. I don't. If anyone was ever trying to flaunt in front of me, it's so pointless. It'd be like, "What are you doing?" I don't care. I don't feel jealous. I don't have jealousy in me in that regard. It's like it doesn't bother me. If I wanted it, I'll be trying to acquire it. If I'm not trying to acquire it, I don't care. It's just like I said. I'm not looking to change my car. I'm not looking to buy new clothes. Um, I don't. Yeah. I'm not. I don't. I don't. I just don't seem to be interested in the thing most other people are interested in. To be totally honest, if I've got money, I'd much rather just, like I said, I've been building up my physical media collection. I've got some. I got most of the films I want now. I want a bit of a romance comedy tangent at the moment where I'm truly enjoying it. It makes me smile, makes me laugh, makes me feel happy. I'm more in that vein at the moment. I've been acquiring an awful lot. So I've added a few more recently. That's what I enjoy. But not to the extent it's out of control because I don't want to just keep amassing, amassing, amassing. Um, but again, it brings me happiness, so why not? But the other side of that, of course, is in the back of my mind, I'm thinking I also want holidays. I want to travel. So I don't see the point of paying £300-400 a month on a car payment when you can go on holiday for that. Now, some people will only go on holiday for a £2,000-3,000 holiday. I don't understand that. I'm more than happy with a £500 holiday. You can go within Europe for £500 for 2 weeks if you do it right. If you go as a couple, like two people, um, there's usually like £900. You can get £900 holidays between two people. You're at £450-500 per person. It's cheap, and they're more than fun. It's fine. So yeah, I mean, look at that. If you consider that, and then you're wasting money on expensive clothes, silly car payments, and all these other things, it's like, yeah, you've made yourself prisoner for no reason. What do you actually want for the year? Because the thing is, too many people that have said they put too much emphasis on these things, and they're forgoing other experiences in life because they're not thinking of where else that money could go. So I've said it before: where we put our money, where we spend our money, it takes away money from other avenues of our life. If it makes you happy, great, but it is important to have balance. And you'll see a lot of these people that do these fancy holidays and they pay these fancy cars, they're in a lot of debt and they don't admit it. I've seen it firsthand with other people that I've seen in my life. They position themselves as doing well and they've got money, but they've got an immense amount of debt and they're having to keep accruing to that debt because they're trying to maintain a lifestyle that's not affordable. So why not just make your lifestyle affordable? I think that's a simple response, really. Anyway, hopefully it's gone some way to helping people. I don't want to ramble.